Hey everyone, welcome back to ChaatNChat. My name is Josh.
My name is Miguel.
And we're watching Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge. This is part 4. Yes, it's a longer movie. It's over 3 hours long, but you know, it's a classic and it fits. Anyway, if you have not yet, then please consider subscribing, sharing, a like button पर मारो.
Sorry, hi Chutki. Hey, I'm sorry मुझे आने में देर हो गई. लेकिन क्या करता?
All right, let's stuff some food in there.
इनसे कह दो कि इन्हें मेरी फिक्र करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं।
Is this that?
जब मुझे भूख से
Is she hangry?
Yeah, she hangry.
She hangry, I think.
कि तुम्हारे साथ ही खाएगा और तुम्हें बताने से मना किया था। सॉरी राज, पर मैं और चुप नहीं रह सकती।
Is this a secret rooftop place, or can they be seen by others? I'm like, there's these windows over here.
चलो सुनीता.
Oh, I told you.
Yup, they're gonna get caught. But Mom kind of already knew there was another guy, so...
ये जो मेरे साथ हुआ, वो मेरी बेटी के साथ नहीं होगा। वो बेटी
wow.
बीवी बनकर।
Wow, a bunch of people have got their own character stories going on that is pretty amazing.
Oh, is she gonna tell him to run away?
चले जाओ यहाँ से। यहाँ तुम्हारे प्यार को समझने वाला कोई नहीं है। इसे ले जाओ यहाँ से।
It's not enough for him.
मगर अंत में हमेशा जीत होगी.
Well said, yeah.
पर जाऊंगा तभी जब बाबूजी खुद इसका हाथ मेरे हाथ में देंगे.
He is a mother's son. Yeah.
डोली उठने की देर है.
The daughter's like, see, he's awesome, right? He's a pretty good guy, Ma. Dad's like, there's gonna be a hunting accident.
चुपचाप रहने वाली मुरझाई हुई. You know, ये भी कोई जोड़ी हुई. तेरे लिए लड़की होनी चाहिए कोई फुलझड़ी टाइप. हाँ, फुलझड़ी टाइप.
Who's he lining him up with?
एक बार शादी हो जाने दीजिए, फिर सिमरन रहेगी यहाँ पर और हम होंगे लंदन में और फिर आपकी उन फुलझड़ियों से भी मिल लेंगे.
Oh, shots.
चक दो फटे अंकल जी.
चक दे फटे उल्लू दे पट्टे.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude, of course he's that kind of guy, though.
आपको जानता हूँ, पहचानता हूँ, पर शायद आप ही पहचान नहीं पा रहे उसे.
Wow, getting deep, son.
अरे, क्या हुआ?
Kuljit, you punk. And he's just shooting him for sport, not like he's gonna eat him.
तुम ठीक कहते हो. मैं ही पहचान नहीं पाया.
Wow. He got a friendly touch from Dad. That's pretty sweet.
नजदीक आ गए हैं।
ओहो, शुभ शुभ बोलो माँ जी. कैसी बातें कर रहे हैं आप?
घबराने की बात नहीं है।
Too much partying for grandma.
मैं सिमरन को दुल्हन बनने देखना चाहती हूँ।
Oh, timetable just moved up.
हाँ माँ जी, बारात कल ही आएगी.
Oof, he just ran out of time.
हमें सिमरन को यहाँ से भगाना ही पड़ेगा. अब और कुछ नहीं हो सकता.
Dude, Dad's ultimate wingman.
I'm like, wow.
मैं यहाँ तुम्हें अपनी दुल्हन बनाने के लिए आया हूँ और तुम्हें यहाँ से ले जाऊंगा तभी जब तुम्हारे बाबूजी खुद तुम्हारा हाथ मेरे.
I know that he really wants to stand firm in that. She trusts him enough and loves him enough.
मुझसे?
He's there in front of you. He's come from a country and everything. I know it's a lot though. In the moment, you sometimes have your doubts.
And turn back. Turn around.
She knows he loves her.
Wow, that seems like such a long time ago.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Oh, I thought Dad was gonna get it. Oh, it's teasing us. It's following him. It's like, look at me, look at me, look at me. It's like literally following him.
Oh, jeez. Did he finally get it? He did finally get it.
Boom, boom,
Boom, boom, boom, boom.
God, his eye twitching, dude. Oh, he's so good at that.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh God, he's like, what did I just walk into?
Oh, he's like, okay. Truth is out. At least they know something, and they can't do anything. He was leaving,
Yeah,
so what's
like
what's the deal? He came for the wedding. He's going to leave before the wedding happens.
Yeah, you gotta take your beating.
हमारी शराफत का मजाक उड़ाया है तुमने तुमने सिमरन के साथ प्यार करने की जुर्रत कैसे की और बिगड़ते हैं
Oh, they're doing this all in front of the in-laws too. Couldn't keep it private.
ये पूरी जिंदगी हमको पालते हैं पोसते हैं हमको ढेर सारा प्यार देते हैं हमको कोई हक नहीं पहुंचता कि हम इनको दुख पहुंचाकर अपनी खुशियों के महल खड़े करें.
Laying it on thick for Dad to think about really, really a lot. Here you are talking all about honor and fairness and so forth, and yet I am doing all of this.
तो क्या हुआ अगर मैंने झूठ सिर्फ तुम्हें पाने के लिए कहा था? झूठ तो आखिर झूठ होता है ना. बाबूजी ठीक कहते हैं.
Is he? Maybe, maybe not.
तो क्या हुआ अगर ये आवारा तुम्हें दीवानों की तरह प्यार करता है? तो क्या हुआ?
Dad has to realize too, he could have taken her at any time, but his honor kept him there.
Love isn't everything. I love it. The mic drop line. Oh, with the ironic statement. Trust me.
He's like, man, I'm trying to stay angry at this guy. He's like, dude, I don't really know who you are.
Oh,
and
but
namaste, namaste.
Well, that's the in-laws, the future in-laws.
Yeah,
And yeah, he saved him. No.
Whoa, dude, stand back. You're not gonna be able to take him in a fight.
मैं जानता हूँ कि मैंने तुम्हारा दिल दुखाया है.
Yeah, she got caught in the crossfire.
Yeah.
Wait, but what about Pops?
Like father, like son, I think they're both going to come out on top.
Oh, no. Thought it'd be that easy. Nope.
उन्हें उसे हिलाना ही होगा.
What? I don't think so. That dude was really mad.
उसने अपनी औकात दिखाई है. मैं अपनी बेटी को ऐसे झूठे आवारा चौधरी साहब बस.
Oh, the two patriarchs head to head. He's not even fighting back, yeah. He's just gonna take it. Oh, don't you hit my dad. Oh, I might have taken the beating, but none of you hit my dad.
Put the stick down, dude.
I think someone is gonna get hurt. Oh. Wait, are the officials just kind of standing back and watching?
I guess. Is this theater for the locals?
Yeah, it must be. Like, They're all very interested.
But they're unwilling to do anything.
Yeah. No one brought the popcorn.
Yeah.
Whoa. His eyes, I dare you.
Well, but at the same time, he's like, no, I won't hit you. Yeah.
They're at the train station, so obviously he didn't start it.
Right.
Kuljit came looking for a fight.
Yep.
Father and son bonding?
Yep, a little.
प्लीज बाबूजी मुझे मेरे राज के बाहर जाने दीजिए प्लीज बाबूजी प्लीज बाबूजी मुझे मेरे राज के बाहर
Think he's breaking down?
I don't know who's gonna. It's almost a testament to who feels as though they're more righteous.
इस लड़के से ज्यादा प्यार तुझे और कोई नहीं कर सकता.
Finally.
अपने राज के पास जा. जा सिमरन. जा जी ले अपनी जिंदगी.
Oh, run!
Conductor's useless there. Here, let me give you a hand up. But I get it. Can she do that in a short platform? Come on, come on, come on, come on. Need to get going.
And it comes full circle. That's how they originally met.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. He did it. He won the heart.
ouch
At least he was honest. Ouch.
Yeah.
ऐसी छोटी-छोटी बातें होती रहती
बड़ी meditation.
ले जाएंगे
ले जाएंगे.
देखा तो ये जाना सनम
All right, so let me ask you something. This is maybe a little bit trivia. What did that end scene with the train remind you of? So there has been a movie that we watched that definitely took that scene and like was inspired by that scene.
That took
Yeah,
so it
there's
was
two movies, I
newer movies that took this scene and used it in their scene.
There's two that I could think of, but one that's really big that they clearly did a callback to this. All right, so it's Chennai Express, and they did a joke on the platform because it's Shah Rukh Khan reaching out his hand, and then he pulled a Deepika Padukone, right?
Right.
And then it was the goons that were chasing her, right? And then he kept like helping him up,
yes.
but then the platform ran out, but he kept like grabbing him and helping him up.
Right.
And so that was a clear like callback to this, especially because of the train, and it was Shah Rukh Khan. So that was, like,
that was the callback.
Yeah,
I get it.
a
I get
callback.
it. Well, since I hadn't seen this and I saw that, it had no context for me.
Right.
But now I'm like going, okay, yeah, I could see that. Anytime you have him reaching out on a train,
and it was
it's going to be
Shah Rukh
a call.
Khan
It's going to be a callback. So yeah, that's great.
And another
the other one?
that's interesting, and it also centers around trains. It had a big part of it was Jab We Met. So Jab We Met was Shahid Kapoor and Kareena Kapoor. So on the train platform, I mean, many times like they were running for the train, right? What's also interesting is they also went back to her family, and he was blending in as like a friend, but she was like marrying the other guy. That's what they thought. Well, they had him, like she was like gonna marry him, but really they were there to get her married to the other guy.
Right.
I mean, not exactly the same, but it was both in Punjab. And like confusion between the two, and it centered around trains. Whether that was an inspiration or just because trains are a big thing in India, I don't know. But it's very interesting to compare and contrast sometimes.
You could do a whole little thesis on trains and the roles they play in India.
And this is a classic. Like I said, it's still running in theaters. Like there's a screen dedicated to this in Mumbai, and it is the classic, really.
I could really see how, I mean, there's a lot of emotional stuff and a lot of cultural connection. And I could actually see how big time romantic would really want to watch this over and over again. You know, I think everywhere in the world, there are people that are big time romantics and they say, I watch this movie over and over again and I cry every single time and it gets me, you know, and every time they're all the same. And I see something different every single time and I've seen it 20, 30 times and suddenly I see something or I think about something differently. And again, as I often say, is we all change in our life as we move through life, getting new experiences, new feelings. And
relate to things differently.
And we relate to things differently. So you can watch movies many times over and see things or feel things that you're like, oh, I didn't think of it that way before. So.
And I saw I don't know if it was some sort of documentary or something like that, they were talking about Shah Rukh Khan and they were talking about how the mothers of India see him as their son because of roles like this, right?
I could easily see that.
Because, I mean, he is like the son.
It's the model son.
I mean, because he could have eloped with her super easy. Not only was she willing, but even his dad was willing and being like, dude, bring her back to London. We have more than enough money to support. You don't have to start out on your own. Like, I'll support you and whatnot, right? And still, he said no, because I respect this, you know, tradition and your father's opinion, and I want to have his blessings. Even when he had the bride's mom's blessing, it still wasn't enough for him. He said, this is what I set out to do, and this is the path, even though there's struggles and whatnot, but anything in the world worth having, you got to fight for.
Right.
This is that. So I could see this as like one of those like breakup movies that people might have, because if they're going through like a breakup and then they watch a movie like this and it's like, okay, well, you know, like,
well, there's hope out there, but do you love me enough to do something as extreme as this? And
now let's face it, like, you have to have the wealth to be able to do something like this, because for him, like, how long did he take off from work? Like, he just graduated, or didn't graduate, but, you know, he was supposed to work, and then he told his dad, hey, I'm gonna go live life a little bit, and then he just kind of took off, but he, you know, was still helping.
It's interesting how, in some ways, I kind of viewed him and his dad and their relationship very much more worldly outside of India, okay? And that brought it up with his dress, his father's dress, other things, and just his approach to things, you know, not following the norms. Okay?
It's like traditional versus, you know, like untraditional.
Untraditional.
Like sort of like,
but at the same time, there was this threaded hook of him really wanting to hold on to this tradition in regards to winning her. Okay, so that it's almost like this bridging thing happening between the very traditional and the untraditional, and there's kind of this bridge where it's like, okay, she's wanting to jump to the other side and he's wanting to jump to the traditional side, and it's like, and it's pulling both sides a little closer together to say, hey, maybe we need to think about this a little bit differently. I kind of kept seeing lots of that as we were going through.
It's a big like compare and contrast, because the two families were very different, because his Abauji, you know, her dad, was way more, even from the very beginning, it was like missing like his country and not feeling like, oh, you know, I'm here, but it doesn't feel like home, that sort of stuff. You know, Pops kind of made London his home, but it didn't mean that he forgot about India, because when he got back, he said, oh, this is my land, you know, and he's like, took in the Britain and stuff. But he's the type of guy that can assimilate, you know, in different environments. Whereas it seemed like her dad was having a little bit more difficulties, like assimilating to the environment.
20 years. You would think,
but even then, he was calling himself a stranger in that land, even after 20 years. But it's interesting you bring up the relationship between Shah Rukh Khan and Anupam Kher, because the role was originally wrote that Pops was going to be super strict.
Oh.
Yeah, the original role, this is what I read, is that he was going to be, the character was written as very strict, but once they saw Shah Rukh Khan and Anupam Kher interacting on set and seeing their chemistry together, they're like, oh no, we got to rewrite this, and they have like this like really fun relationship, and they're like, I think we lean into that, and then it could be like more going in that direction, which adds a little bit more depth to this movie, because I feel like if both sides of the family were like super aggressive and strict, it might not have given the same feeling.
It wouldn't have had the same
because
conflicts.
Raj coming in there and respecting her, like that thing when he was joking about their night together after being drunk.
Yes.
And he said, look, I'm still an Indian and I understand
Yes.
what
The
the
honor.
honor
Yes.
and image means to an Indian girl, right? And so even though they're both like living in London and stuff like that, he's saying that he still respects all of those things, even though he comes from like this background. So I think it adds a little bit more depth, and I really like that, you know, that part. The music in this movie, like, oh man, every single song was like a classic. Like, my gosh, I've heard every one of those songs on the radio. Every one of those songs. And, you know, so it was just like, oh yeah, I know this one, okay. And, you know, so the music was super classic. Like, there was so many classic imagery in here too, with like the mustard fields, like you pointed out. And I mean, also, maybe even an inspiration or a callback, Veer Zara. Because remember in the very beginning, when they were having that kind of like, when he was like thinking about that flashback, but then you hear that gunshot and whatnot, they're running in like the mustard field or something. Like that reminded me very much of like that scene when they were like running in the field. So I don't know.
I think also the mustard field can be very much that whole Mother India connection.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I think that is kind of what I kind of feel.
Especially since he was like trapped in that movie. He was trapped in Pakistan, so he would be thinking of his home and, you know, mustard field, the iconic imagery. But so also there's like some very famous dialogue here too, and it's the oh man, I'm gonna get it wrong, but something like "Itne bade bade desh mein aisi choti choti baat hote hain," something like that. So like in a big country like this, these small things happen, you know? And so it's like in these like grander scheme of things, like all these little things are just minor, right? And these things happen, but in the grand scheme of things, like how big are these actual problems, right?
Right.
And so they said that multiple times through this movie, and I know I got that dial. I'm pretty sure I said that wrong. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head.
Way better than me.
But that's very famous, and I've heard that in other movies too, and I guess that's a callback. To this movie. Yeah, it's very interesting, very classic. Now it's no wonder that people think of this movie when they think of Bollywood, and it took us a long time to get here and watch this, and maybe we made a mistake because we probably should have watched this a long time ago, since there's so many other movies that have callbacks to this movie.
Yeah, might be able
so
to
we probably
recognize-
should have watched this movie like 100 movies ago, but we are watching it now thanks to our members that voted for it. So what, now you have to remember the time period this is, right? And
so this was shot in the...
Well, this came out in 95.
95. It had the feel more of the 80s.
So what are you going to rate it?
I'm thinking. I am going to give it an 8. I'm going to give it a good, strong 8. I think there was some great dialogue and some incredibly good acting. There were parts that I thought lagged a bit, but overall I thought it was very good, and it's definitely up there. So, an 8.
I am going to give it a... Oh, man. Oh, geez. I'm torn because the history of it and the importance of this film and how it has shaped even modern films today. I'm thinking about that, and I just think how like landmark of a movie this is.
Right.
Because, but, okay, so I'm not going to rate it based on that. I'm going to rate it based on me watching it today and how much I enjoyed it and that. So I'm going to give it a 9. But if I was going to talk about the historical importance of it, like a 10, because it was really good. The acting, I mean, Amrish Puri being in this himself is just, oh, dude, he speaks volumes with those eyes. And he does the eye twitch, like when he was so angry and his like eyes were like twitching. I was like, oh, dude, I'm so scared right now for you. You are going to get the beat down. And when he walked up to him, even Shah Rukh Khan knew he was going to get his face slapped off. He was like, oh, I'm preparing for it.
Not looking forward to
He's
this.
like, all right, do it. Do it. I know you're going to do it. And, you know, so we all knew it was coming because that eye twitch said it all. You know, and Anupam Kher, he's just like a very good, versatile actor. And, you know, so I think overall everything was really good. I didn't really think it lagged anywhere, but I think just the length of it, I didn't think anything really lagged, but they could maybe have like tightened up a little bit throughout the movie and just try to shorten it down for today's modern world. Now this is back in the 90s, so that's why I didn't really ding it on that. But if I were today watching it as a movie and wanting to give it a perfect score, I would say like maybe over 3 hours is a little tad much. But you know, because of that length, we had those many songs, and all those songs were very iconic and classic. So I don't know, but I did really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a good story, a really good story. I liked it.
Yeah. All right, well, you guys let us know what you think. What would you rate it? Thoughts, opinions, and you know, what other iconic things did we miss? Because I'm sure there was a ton in this movie that are referenced in other movies. So let us know in the comments below what other movies have referenced this that we may have already seen.
Yeah.
And if you didn't vote in this week's poll and you want to vote in next week's poll, then be sure to go over to our Patreon page by clicking that right there, where you can find watch-alongs, early access, all that good stuff, members-only polls. And if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe, share, a like button पर tap पर मारो.